Hello everybody, welcome back to The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt with your host QED20. Last time we left off after Geralt had a terrible dream about how Ciri was abducted by the Wild Hunt. As Geralt and Vesemir go looking for Yennefer, the woman that Geralt loves so much and has not seen in so long. After suddenly receiving a letter from her, him and Vesemir set out to find her and figure out what happened and why she needs them all of a sudden. As you can see, the continent is torn apart by war. The Nilfgaardian Empire from the south has invaded and wreaked havoc on the northern kingdoms, and we can see that. And while this game is beautiful, there's a lot of harrowing things that we see, no thanks to all the death and destruction that's going on because of this invasion from the south. Holy lens flare, Batman. What do we have here? So, the monster design of this game is fantastic, and all the monsters are adapted from Slavic folklore, and I'll try my best to describe some of the monsters and their origins and their kind of, the folklore behind them. I think this is a pretty common monster. This is in nearly every type of folklore. Griffins. I mean, English folklore, Slavic folklore. It's very common. It's just a European mythological creature. And we get to fight it later on. Not quite away. So, as a Witcher, we are monster slayers. I mean, people don't like us. I was mentioning in the last video that nowadays, in this time and age, Witchers are looked down upon as freaks. We still work as Witchers, though. We still have to find work. We have to find monsters. We have to slay them. And so we'll have a few opportunities in this game to take out some really cool monsters. And I won't skip over any of those. We'll do the main quest, but we're also going to take out a bunch of monsters through contracts. This guy looks a lot like Ringo Starr. Typically, Witchers ask for money in return for their actions. They're very business-minded people, but I'm not going to be a dick. I'm going to just let him go. We just happen to be there at the right time. And you can see some of the bitterness that people have to Witchers already. Yeah, we are actually, conveniently. So White Orchard is the first area that the game takes place. There's three. It's an open world game, but there's basically three open worlds that you can go in between. So White Orchard is the first open world. It's quite big already, and it's the smallest one of all three. And right, so let's keep on going to the tavern as we were planning on doing. We have a bestiary, which is very helpful because we have to know what techniques to employ against certain monsters, and as we become more and more experienced, whoopsie daisy. As we become more and more experienced, what happens is that we find better techniques for taking out certain monsters. There's certain oils that you can apply to your sword, or certain potions or certain bombs that are more effective against certain monsters, and your different signs are also better for different monsters. You use a silver sword against monsters and steel swords against humans because silver only hurts monsters. Anyway. I'll stop talking. I talk a little bit too much, I think, over some of the important text dialogues. But here we are, in the first tavern. We'll just go on ahead here. See, we can see the wolf school medallion that Geralt wears, and I was mentioning last time, the medallion that a Witcher wears is indicative of the school that he attended during his training. Some of the lovely townsfolk that we have here. That is the Temerian lilies. Unfortunately, Temeria has been taken over by Nilfgaard. Some people are not happy with that. Some people are more accepting of reality. As this gentleman here is. They certainly don't make war glamorous, and what I really respect about this game is that it's very, it captures the darkness of humanity very beautifully, and we see that in many different aspects, especially brought forward through war. And here's a first example of racism and hatred towards Witchers. Well, I wouldn't quite call it racism, but dislike and you know, hatred.
Nie ma za co, jesteśmy nawykli.
Ludzie tu nerwowe. Nie dość, że dopiero co wojska przeszły, to jeszcze gryf nam się zalał.
Yeah, we just saw that one.
Zdążyliśmy się z nim poznać. Napadł na twojego krewnego, Brama.
Brama, co z nim?
Żyje i pozdrawia.
Bram is the man that we just saved.
Jadło i napitek na mój rachunek. Co podać?
Yep, since we are playing on the hardest difficulty, we might as well get as much food as we can for free. Double click on an item to purchase it. Yes, yes, I get you. Also, Gwent. Gwent is a really cool aspect of this game. Gwent is a card game, and it's really addicting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy all these right away, mostly because I'm going to try to collect the full deck. I have yet to be able to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and try. I thought food was on the lady. That's a bloody shame. It's definitely not on the lady. Well, we've gotten what we needed here. Let's get out of here. And we're also looking for a woman.
Ciemne włosy, fiołkowe oczy, ubiera się tylko w czarni biel. Jechała od strony wierzbicy. I wiem, że zabrzmi to głupio, ale pachnie bzem i agresją.
Her trademark scent.
Nie widziałam takiej. Zapamiętałabym, uwierzcie.
Tak, ją ciężko zapomnieć.
To może kto inny wam pomoże. Dużo tu przejezdnych ze wszystkich stron.
Well, there are a few people in the bar, so or the inn. Might as well ask. Yes.
Dzięki, to wszystko.
We'll come back and we'll talk to her some more. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm so. I ate not too long ago, so getting a little bit of stuff. Never mind. That's an uncomfortable topic.
Pierw tylko bydło z pól porywał, ale ostatnio jakoś w ludzkim mięsie posmakował. Strach z chałupy wyjść.
We'll definitely have a chance to take out that griffin sooner rather than later, which is pretty exciting.
Pomóc ci z opatrunkami? Daj spokój, jeszcze nie zniedołężniałem.
For an old man, Vesemir is still very much quite capable.
Tylko pamiętaj, lepiej, żebyśmy nie zwracali.
But similarly to sorceresses, witchers live for a long period of time. Now let's ask around. Talk to this guy.
Szukam kogoś.
A my szukamy spokoju. Odejdź przybłędo, bo nam piwo w kuflach skwasi.
More dislike towards witchers. Let's just go ahead and use our sign to help our cause. A little bit of mind control never hurt anybody.
Żegnała taka nocą przez wieś. Tak pędziła, że Radobora do rowu zepchnęła.
Gdzie pojechała?
Nie wiem, z gościńca drogi na wszystkie strony idą. Ludzie, wiedźmak rozum dromiłowi odjął.
Tak, a tobie odejmę język, jak się nie zamkniesz.
Oh, tough crowd. But Geralt does not take any shit. He's a bona fide badass. He is definitely a bona fide badass. Oh, look, a cat. Hello, Mr. Cat. We have similar eyes. Let's talk to these guys here.
Tracimy czas. Prędzej ziemia zacznie
Here they are playing Gwent.
nim opanujesz zasady. Mogę zająć chwilę? Czemu nie? Aldertger.
We might as well play through a round of Gwent. This guy will invite us, and we'll play it so I can show you guys the game. It's really quite cool.
Widziałeś taką? Oczywiście, że nie. W przeciwieństwie do gminu wiem, że zwiastunka wojny to tylko bajeczka.
They've made a very good mini game. Anyway, Horsemen of War. What do you mean?
Zwiastunka wojny? O czym ty mówisz? Ludzie gadają, że nocami przez pola jedzie zmora, która wygląda jak piękna kobieta. Taka jak opisałeś. Ciągną za nią wojska, a tego, kto przetnie jej drogę, czeka nieszczęście.
That would sound like Yennefer.
Osobiście. Wiesz, gdzie dokładnie ją widziano? Nie. Mnie interesują fakty, nie klechdy.
Yeah, what are you doing here in this dingy little place?
Nie spodziewałem się, że spotkam tu naukowca. Rozumiem, że uciekasz przed wojną. Wręcz przeciwnie. Jadę na front. Życie ci niemiłe? Milsza od życia jest mi wiedza, a nie zdobędę jej siedząc między księgami.
This man is full of himself.
Pasję Nilfgaardu na własne oczy. Zrozumieć ją i opisać. To będzie moje magnum opus.
We should probably warn him about war, what war is really like. He has no idea.
Wracaj między te księgi, póki jeszcze możesz. Wojna to nie zabawa. Tu nie będzie rad wydziałowych, errat i innych habilitacji. Zabije cię pierwszy żołnierz, którego spotkasz. Niby czemu? Jestem cywilem, bezstronnym. Buty. Co? Zarżnie cię dla butów.
War? War is an interesting thing. It never changes.
Wojna dotarła już do Nowigradu? Nie, ale to kwestia czasu. Z jednej strony rzeki Nilfgaard, z drugiej Redania. Łypią na miasto jak psy.
Redania is another kingdom in the north that has not gone down yet. King Radovid is the leader, and we'll meet him later as well. And I'm promising that we're going to meet all these characters, but I really don't want to talk about them too much before you meet them because I don't want to influence your opinion on that particular character until you met them. And then I could offer my opinion. Anyway, let's get out of here.
Muszę iść. Bywaj. Czekaj, Wiedźminie. Wyglądasz mi na światowca. Umiesz może grać w Gwinta?
I do.
Nie mam
Well,
czasu się uczyć.
okay.
To naprawdę proste. No to jak będzie?
Geralt must know, but yes. Let's go ahead and show you folks.
Czemu nie?
Gwent, a fantastic minigame. A lot of people, you know, on Reddit will freak out and be like, "Oh, I bought Gwent and I played it, or I bought Witcher 3 and I played Gwent for 120 hours and I haven't even finished the main storyline." Yeah, it's good. It is good. So we have different cards here. So these are environmental effect cards. So Biting Frost, and this is a unit card, okay? So the number in the upper left corner indicates its strength, which adds to our overall attack power. And when it's placed on the battlefield, this value is added to the total strength of the player who placed it. We see this is a siege unit, so this goes in the far back, and it's affected by certain weather conditions, in this case torrential rain. And it also adds one extra strength to each unit that's also in the siege cards with this icon here. So here, there's the sword represents close combat, the bow and arrow is range combat, and the trebuchet is siege combat. So as you can see, this gentleman here is a siege expert. And so this has a special ability, as I mentioned. This one's called Morale Boost, which grants +1 strength to all the units in the same row. Now, weather cards are the special type of cards, which I was previously going to explain. They reduce the strength of all the cards of a given type on the battlefield, including your own. So it reduces everybody, even if they have a strength of 8, to 1, unless they're special cards. Special cards are not affected by this. So we can see Biting Frost affects the close combat, Torrential Rain affects siege, and I think this is a fog that affects the ranged combat, the bow and arrow people. So at the beginning of the game, you can choose 2 cards to redraw. So if you don't want something, it's going to skip that now. But essentially what happens in the beginning, you're allowed to choose 2 cards to redraw. There's 3 different decks. You can play as the Northern Realms, which I am playing as. You can play as the Nilfgaardian Empire, which is what the opponent is playing as. And you can also play as the monsters. So there are 3 decks and certain cards you can use in between different decks, especially hero cards and whatnot. But we'll get more into that as we continue, because we're not going to skip our chances. We're going to play as much Gwent as we possibly can throughout our adventure. Anyway, this is how the playing field looks like. So we have the battlefield, which is our side, and there's the opponent's side of the battlefield. So we can, in each turn, we can place one card on the battlefield, or we can pass. Sometimes passing is strategic because we only have so many cards, and we can't draw more. However, as we are the Northern Realms, we are able to draw one extra card in the next round. So we have leader cards. I have King Foltest here, which is my leader, which gives me a special ability, and our opponent has Emir, the Emperor, as his leader, which also gives him a special ability. In this case, he wins in the case of a draw. So we're going to choose a card and put it on the battlefield and continue. So I'm going to try minimizing my use of close combat characters simply because if I use Biting Frost, I'm going to be hampered. And I'm going to save my siege for the end. So let's go ahead and place, and we can see our total strength has gone up to 4. And we can pass, and essentially we want to have the highest strength. If the opponent passes and I have a higher strength than him, I can pass and automatically win. So I've placed this, and I've now added my total attack power to 4. Good, he's placed a siege card. So now, if we placed Torrential Rain, the siege card would have a total strength of 1 instead of 5. And so we're going to hold off, and we're not going to play any of our siege cards, because if we do, we're going to hurt them, hamper them as well. So we're going to keep loading up our ranged combat cards and try to build up our strength. Again, he's playing a card that we can stop with Biting Frost. So once again, I'll play a ranged card. And we'll go ahead and use Biting Frost now, which affects the playfield. Thankfully, we have no close combat characters to affect, so as you can see, his strength went down to 1. Similarly, he's adding another Trebuchet, so we're going to go ahead and play Torrential Rain, bringing both of their strengths down to 1. He's going to play Impenetrable Fog, which also screws me over, and now we've kind of come to this stupid standstill. So I'm going to go ahead and play this guy because he only does 1 damage anyway. This is frustrating. So it's in my best interest now probably to not waste all my cards. So I'm going to go ahead and pass. And he's going to win this round. So you can see I've lost the life gem. You have 2 life gems, and as soon as you lose both of them, you're done. So at this point, I'm just going to try to win, hopefully, just by sheer strength. So he's going to play 1 more, and I'm going to play 1 more. And hopefully, he plays a card now. And he decides to, oh, okay, we're good now. See, now our strength is much higher than him. He's also passed, so now if we pass, we're going to win the round. As so. Now he has no cards to play. We get to draw an extra card because of our faction ability. So, let's go ahead and play this, and he has no cards. And so, we win. And we won the round. So as we continue throughout the game, we'll be able to buy more cards and get more powerful cards and get hero cards, which are absolutely awesome. And at one point, our deck is going to become so stacked, no Gwent competition is going to be a challenge. Sometimes we'll have to cheese things, and I'll try not to cut any footage of me trying to cheese things. Maybe I'll make a special episode for that, and then you can skip that one if you don't want to watch any Gwent. Because you either like Gwent or you don't like Gwent, because they don't really force you to play it. I personally, throughout my first playthrough, didn't like it, but during the second playthrough, enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm going to try to play as much Gwent as I can because I personally do enjoy it. And hopefully you're in that same camp as I am.
Zapamiętam, dzięki.
There we go. And we received the card for that, Zoltan Shive. Zoltan will also meet later on, a character. He's a friend of Geralt's, and I'm not going to spoil much about him. If you don't know him, if you know him, you know what to expect. Anyway, let's talk to this guy.
Szukam kobiety. Jak wszyscy? Nie jak wszyscy. Ta pachnie agresem i bzem.
Again, always with the lilac and gooseberries. It's not the most descriptive thing because I don't know if many people know what gooseberries smell like. Let's have a drink.
Napiję się. Możemy przejść do rzeczy. Widziałeś ją?
Yennefer z Wengerbergu?
It's funny because he never actually mentioned her name. And yet this man knew.
Nie powiedziałem, jak ma na imię.
Ale dobrze ją opisałeś. A ja mam tak. Raz coś usłyszę, nigdy nie zapominam.
Yes, how do you know Yen?
Skąd znasz Yennefer?
Też pytanie. Z ballad mistrza Jaskra. Dla biednego handlarza to jedyna okazja, żeby otrzeć się o wielkość. No, chyba, że ma się tyle szczęścia, co ja.
Wait till we meet Dandelion. He's definitely my favorite character.
Na samego Geralta z Rivii, rzeźnika z Blaviken.
So, how do you know who I am?
Mnie też znasz z ballad mistrza Jaskra?
Twoje zdrowie.
I guess that's a very thorough answer. And who might you be?
Czym się zajmujesz? Kim jesteś?
Parszywy przybłęda. Gaunter Odim. Do usług.
Przybłęda to zawód?
Kiedyś handlowałem lustrami, więc wesoła gawieć ochrzciła mnie też panem lustro i szklanym człowiekiem.
Interesting. Anyway, where is Yennefer?
Widziałeś Yennefer?
Przepraszam, ale muszę o to spytać. Czy tu chodzi o miłość?
Yeah, of course it's about love.
Zgadłeś, to miłość.
Od razu wiedziałem.
Mów co wiesz.
Zanim się nie pojawiłeś, do głowy mi nie przyszło, że to Yennefer. Kto by pomyślał?
Do rzeczy.
Zwiadowca z Nilfgaardzkiego garnizonu ją widział.
Gdzie?
W ich obozie. Wpadła tam w środku nocy. Czerni, biel, agrest i... Tak,
I wonder what Yennefer is doing with the Nilfgaardians. Well, I mean, I know, but I wonder.
Nie jestem wszechwiedzący. Pytaj w garnizonie.
Dzięki.
Cool, so we have a lead. That's important.
Gościńca, musimy trzymać się razem. Może kiedyś ja znajdę się w kłopocie, a ty będziesz w pobliżu.
He's rather mysterious, isn't he? Interesting character. All right, so we've done as much as we needed to do. I think this is a stash box. Yes. We don't really need to stash anything. Our weight limit is pretty... I mean, we don't have a whole lot at this point. Here's our inventory travel bag, which is, well, the stuff that we have and our different tabs. Pardon me again, jeez. And those are stats. So as we can see now, our DPS with our silver sword is about 152, and our DPS with the steel sword is about 40, so we're doing a lot more damage with our silver sword. But we can also see that our damage for our silver sword is significantly higher than our steel sword. Our sign intensity is also at 0%, but we can bring that up. So the higher the sign intensity that we have, the more affect the signs that we have. So our Quen, Ard, Axi, etc., etc. And our vitality, of course, and armor setting. So this is all controlled by the equipment and our stats and abilities that we give Geralt as we level up. So for now, we have no potions. Actually, we do. We have Tawny Owl, so we'll toss that in there. So that's one of the quick use items that we have. Well, we are able to make more potions. Yes, I can meditate. You can meditate to pass the time. Here's our bestiary, and we can see that we have Griffin. We might as well talk about the Griffin now because we're going to be hunting him down pretty soon. So, aye, half eagle, half tomcat, just like on the Lord's crest, except this one was a carrying me dead cow, steed of a scepter. So this was a quote by a Griffin attack witness, name unknown. Griffins were once only found in the high in the mountains, where they would hunt marmots and wild goats. When humans encroached on their lands, however, griffins soon discovered a new source of much more plentiful and easier caught prey: cows, sheep, and shepherds. Though still wary of main roads and towns, where folk with the means to hire a witcher are like to dwell, these half-eagle, half-wildcat creatures have gone from rarities to often-countered pests known throughout the northern realms. Especially hated are the subspecies known as royal griffins and arch griffins. And so we can see that it's vulnerable against grape shot, which is a type of bomb, hybrid oil, which is an oil that we can apply to our sword, and Ard signs. So let's close the bestiary here. We can also perform alchemy, which is important. Here we're able to combine it's kind of like a crafting menu, so we can combine our different ingredients to form what we want. So we can form bombs, alcohol, which we can use to regenerate our potions, oils, which we can apply to our blades to have a certain enhanced damage effect against certain enemies, and other potions. And so I'd like to make Swallow. However, we don't have all the ingredients yet, so we'll make it soon enough. Anyway, let's ask the Nilfgaardians about Yennefer. And of course, run into some trouble beforehand. I have just a good patron. I didn't do anything, and well, I can try to axie them, or I can. Let's be cocky.
Lepiej wezwijcie jeszcze kogoś na pomoc. We trzech możecie nie dać rady.
Sam bym ci naklepał.
Gdybym miał worek na głowie i związane ręce. Chociaż nie, wtedy też nie.
Ciesław, Leszko, odstąpcie. Tam przy błędzie...
Geralt's pretty cocky, but he's pretty strong. So now we're gonna have to fight all three of them. So we'll just counter. Oh, I guess it's just 1v1. So as you can see above his health, it turns red temporarily, and that's the point where we want to counterattack them. So if we do that, we kind of counter them. They get stunned for a second. We'll take him out first. Punch. Oh, we managed to hit both of them at the same time. 1, 2. No. Did we get hit? No, we managed to block. He's gone. Not so fast. Yeah, you guys are great. Let's jump on Roach, and yes, game saves. I know. I should probably save my game, so pardon me while I do that. Seriously, such a beautiful game. Good old Roach. We're just going to go ahead and gallop through. So the nice part about this is that Roach, if you do not use the mouse, he will adhere to the paths of the trail. I usually like to use my mouse to kind of have the ability to control Roach the way I want to. Although he will follow the paths independently, which is nice if you wanted to just explore the scenery. I'm going to save here because I know what happens here. I'm going to try to figure out the quick save button later. But I'm going to go ahead and run in real quick. There's a place of power. So we want to use this real quick. Also, we want to run away because we're going to get our ass handed to us by the Wraith. It's a much higher level than us. Like, significantly higher level than us. See, look how little damage we're doing. So instead of, being an idiot, and oh god, oh no, let's just go ahead and run away. Clearly, we are not going to be able to do much right now, and we'll just keep running. Come on, stop paying attention, Geralt. And we've managed to get away. So there you go. There's when you see an enemy with a red skull above his head, that means he's a much higher level than you are. And I don't really want to mess with him right now. I did want to get to that place of power, though, because the place of power is a source of magic energy that will enhance one of your signs for 20 minutes, and will also give you an ability point to spend to level up Geralt. Kind of like what happens when you gain a level, you get one ability point as well. Anyway, let's go ahead and call Roach over. Get over here. Come on, Roach. And we'll continue on to the Nilfgaardians there. So I'm going to go ahead and just speed through here because clearly, we're not going to be able to take out the Wraith quite so soon. But that's the technique we typically use. We'd use Yrden to slow him down and then take him out. But again, we are not strong enough to currently take out. We're too low a level. We're going to level up shortly, but for now, we'll be patient. So even those dogs are a little bit above us right now. We can probably, take him out because we do a little bit more damage when we're on the horse. So, oh goodness. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and run now before I die. And that's it. I'm not going to end it quite here yet. That was just stupid of me. As you can see, this is more of a life lesson. As you can see, playing this game on the hardest difficulty is no easy feat. The first couple levels, I think up until about we're level 15, are going to be very hard, and we're going to be very picky about the encounters that we want to have, because certain enemies, even as we can see there, they're only level 5, will kick our ass because there's A, too many of them, B, they're too fast, or C, we're just caught between a rock and a hard place and we can't do anything to defend ourselves. So we're going to avoid that fight now and just continue on and ask the Nilfgaardians about Yennefer as we were planning on doing in the first place. As I was mentioning, you can fight on Roach, and you can do more damage, but at the same time, Roach gets scared. And once he gets scared, he does what he did before and knocks you off the horse. So then you're left in a much more vulnerable position, and it is not as beneficial if you're trying to win that particular encounter. Anyway, let's get off Roach here. Pardon me, Roach. Gotta climb up these stairs. And here we are, Nilfgaardian garrison. Oh, I'm here to see him anyway.
A wyglądam ci na miejscowego? Wyglądasz na kogoś, kto sprawia kłopoty.
That's pretty true.
Przeciwnie, ja je rozwiązuję. Jestem Wiedźminem.
Wiedźminem? Kapitan Peter Gwynlew jest w wieży. Za bramą w prawo.
Let's go see.
No proszę,
They're nice. Might as well go talk to the captain.
jak chcecie, potraficie być mili.
Nie przyzwyczajaj się, Nordlingu.
Do wieży.
Boom. All right. Here we are. There's Nilfgaardian. There's the Nilfgaardian colors that I was mentioning, black and gold. They don't like colors. They're very boring people when it comes to that kind of aspect. And there's their sigil, the star or sun. And that's how you know you're dealing with the Nilfgaardian. Here's the man of the hour, the captain.
Ile powiecie, wasza ekscelencjo?
Spójrz mi na ręce. No spójrz. Widzisz te odciski? To nie są ręce żadnej ekscelencji, tylko rolnika. Więc rozmawiajmy jak chłop z chłopem. Ile możecie dać?
40 korców. Byłoby więcej, ale nasi, to jest Temerczycy wcześniej.
So you see the Nilfgaardians are exploiting the Temerian farmers.
No, przybijmy targu. Spodziewam się transportu niedługo.
But he seems to be reasonable.
Pięknie dziękuję.
Which is interesting because Nilfgaardians typically, well, I mean, in a wartime situation, you wouldn't be reasonable, but he's smart. He's trying not to piss off too many of the locals so they don't stop providing him with things so he doesn't have to go in there and, you know, forcibly take it. So, we can't argue with his law. We're gonna be snarky. You plan on requisitioning something from him too, huh?
Jemu też coś skonfiskujesz?
Jeśli to będzie konieczne, oczywiście. Jest wojna, jeśli nie zauważyłem. Coś ty za jeden, mów.
Geralt z Rivii, Wiedźmin.
Wadger. To tłumaczy, czemu nie słyszałem kroków. Czego tu szukasz?
Yennefer z Wengerbergu. Gdzie pojechała?
To tajemnica wojskowa.
Of course. He's gonna play hardball.
I nie wezwałeś straży, czyli złożysz ofertę.
Gdzieś w okolicy zaląkł się gryf. Zabij go, a wtedy zobacz.
Well, naturally, that is what Witchers do best. So, but why do you care about a griffin? I'm curious.
Bo tak ci zależy na tym gryfie.
Bo zależy mi na ludziach.
I'm not entirely certain about that.
9 osób, w tym kilku moich żołnierzy. Żeby ją utłuc, musiałbym wyprowadzić cały garnizon, przeczesać las, puścić nagonkę. A to niemożliwe.
A co, za duża fatyga?
Nie, za duże ryzyko. Nie mogę rozpraszać sił. Wojska temerskie zostały rozbite, ale ludzie tylko czekają, żeby chwycić za broń. W sprawie gryfa mogę więc albo siedzieć z założonymi rękoma, albo nająć profesjonalistę.
And so now he's gonna use us for what we're worth most. We're monster hunters, so he's gonna hire us in exchange for finding where Yennefer is, and of course we want to know where she is, so it is a deal.
Umowa stoi, ale nim zacznę, parę pytań. Wiesz, gdzie gryf może mieć leże?
Z początku trzymał się Lisiego Boru. Wysłałem tam patrol 5 młodych chłopaków. 2 dni później znalazł ich myśliwy. Gdyby nie nasze blachy, nie poznałbym ich.
So griffins tend to mangle their prey quite a bit, as evident from them not being able to recognize their own men. Simply, the only reason they could is because they were wearing the Nilfgaardian sigil.
Będzie prosto. Czego ci trzeba?
Well, I do have to find a specific herb to attract the griffin, because they are attracted to a certain scent.
Pewne zioło na przynętę.
Buckthorn.
Gryf wyczuje jego zapach z 10 mil.
Szakłak. Pierwsze słyszę. Ale nie jestem jeszcze zbyt biegły we wspólnym.
Najpierw pewnie opanowałeś podstawowe zwroty. Ręce do góry, egzekucja.
Nie. Najpierw były powiedzenia. Na przykład
Ooh, snarky.
idź do Tomiry.
They're both super sassy, I suppose.
Pokieruję cię.
We go to Tamira, and we could also use some more information about the griffin, naturally.
Więcej informacji o tym osobniku. Jaki jest płci, czemu porzucił leże.
Przyprowadzić świadków?
Nie powiedzą nic ponad to, co już wiem. Muszę obejrzeć miejsce, gdzie zginęli twoi ludzie. Jak nazywa się myśliwy, który ich znalazł?
Mysła. Ma chatę na południe od wsi, pod samym lasem. Pomocny człowiek. Chociaż nieco dziwny.
Okay, I guess we'll have to talk to him too, so we know where to get started, so long, Mr. Captain.
To Mira i Mysław. Dzięki.
Es sunt jakten.
I'm sorry I don't speak Nilfgaardian, but thanks. So, now we... Oh, there's a chest here. Let's explore this. We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll take it. Basically, I'm going to loot the shit out of everything because there's... A lot of the item supplies don't have weight limits, so we might as well. Anyway, let's grab that. So, we received... we know where Yennefer... Well, we're on the hunt for Yennefer, and we have a source of information, but unfortunately, we cannot access that information until we help our friend, the Nilfgaardian captain here. So, thanks for tuning in. Next time, we're going to take out the Griffin and see where Yennefer is. So, thanks a lot.